I headed down to the hardware store and I found some cedar fence pickets that are only $3 a piece. So I grabbed some and headed back to the house. Once I get those done, I'm going to cut a couple of these pieces at 20 inches. I'm going to need 3 of these. One's going to be a bottom and 2 sides, front and back. I'm also going to cut some 2-inch strips because these are going to be some supports. But wood glue is going to be your friend in this whole project because we're going to use some nails and everything, but glue is what really makes it hold together. Any part that you do, make sure you use the wood glue and the nails to hold it in place. These little support strips are going to be on the back of this project. Once I get those done, I'm going to glue along the edge on the bottom so they can join 2 pieces together. Once I get that glued up, I'm going to use these brad nails again, and they're only 1 inch long to hold it in place. 3, 4, or 5 is all you need for each side because once that glue sets up, it's going to be super strong. And don't go light. Use as much glue as you want, and if it drips out, just use a paper towel just to clean it up. Once I get the front and the back done, it's time to do the sides. What I can do is, again, using the wood glue, use it, and put the base in. And I'm going to make sure these sides get also some brad nails. Make sure you keep your hands out of the way, and if you don't have the brad nails, you can definitely use some little screws to hold it in place. Once I get this done, I need some drain holes, so I'm going to put 3 of them on the bottom. Once I get that done, I'm going to take a plastic bag or any kind of liner that is of your choosing, and I'm going to staple one side in place. Once I get that done, it's time to go ahead and push it and get it all the way in because we're going to need some spare. Go ahead and staple this side up also. And once you get that all done and stapled up, it's time to trim it. That way we can get it all nice and neat looking. But I took some 1-inch strips of these cedar fence and I wanted to make a trim around the whole box. So I mitered the joints at 45 degrees and put a little trim all the way around. Again, using the brad nails to hold it in place. Once I get that done, just a little bit of sanding makes it look really nice. The next step is to go ahead and take some angles and put those down with the screws that come with it. These are what it's going to hold it onto the side of the windows, but I don't have to drill into the side of the house. So once I do that, get the potting soil all in there and all even, then I'm going to plant my flowers. I want to make them look really nice. It doesn't take too much because they are going to get bigger. I'm going to make sure I have them all watered, and look at this. They go right into place. Nice, just sit there. And I didn't have to drill into the side of the house, into the stucco or the siding. And I think they turned out great. Can you believe that I built these planters for less than $8 a piece? And the great thing about using cedar is it is rot resistant and repels insects. I hope this inspired you to build your own DIY window planter box.
We're going to start with this wooden window box. So we're going to start with some bricks of dry floral foam. We're going to need 2 bricks. We're going to place them right in the middle, and then we can start designing. This may be something you've never seen before. This is a glue skillet, and it's my preferred method of securing my stems and my foam in place. And then we'll take those 2 bricks, and we're going to stick them together. Now that we've given it a minute, now we can come back in with more hot glue, and we're going to apply a generous amount, and we're going to secure this to the base of the container. Now we'll give this a minute to harden up, and then we can start adding our florals. Now we have this beautiful hanging geranium bush. So we're going to start by taking the stem and just working it right into the styrofoam. Just like so. Continue fluffing your flowers out. We want to mimic nature as much as possible, and with the wired stems on our florals, it makes it easy to do so. Up next, we're going to work in some delphinium. We have these in 4 colors. I am using the white today. Since this design is not going to be permanent, as we're going to switch it out for each season, I just bent the stem in half. That way we can use these in containers later down the line. We're going to work in 3 today. Now we have some of these pretty pink flowers. So these are just inexpensive filler bushes. And whenever you're able to work in fillers or inexpensive products with your more high-end products, it's kind of the best of both worlds because you still maintain a budget that way. And as always, you can fluff them out and adjust them, pull them down so that the purple and pink is distributed a little bit more evenly. And to bring out a little bit more pink, we're going to use this ranunculus bush. And by designing in a window box or a planter, it makes it really easy because you don't even have to separate it. So we're just going to take this whole bush, find the perfect spot, poke it in, and then we can separate the flowers. So it's much easier than designing, let's say, a wreath or a swag. So continue fluffing until you have your desired effect. And right now where we stand, it only took a few minutes to create this beautiful arrangement, and it was really cost effective. And the best part is we don't have to water. So let me stand back and show you guys the complete arrangement. Here is how our window box or planter turned out, depending on how you use it. So in this design, we have 2 bricks of dry floral foam. Each brick is less than $1, and it's really easy to remove for each season and holiday as you switch out your decor. So we worked in 1 hanging geranium bush, and as you can see, it really hangs on the edge of my table, which looks really, really pretty, and as if it's kind of outside in the wild growing. We worked in 1 ranunculus bush, and it's a lot easier to work it into a design like this, because as you saw, we didn't break it apart whatsoever. We worked in 3 mini daisy bushes and 3 delphiniums, so a really cost-effective, elegant, and simplistic design that would look great anywhere. And as I mentioned before, best of all, no watering required. So thank you all so much for watching. I'm Nick Kretikos of Nick's Seasonal Decor, and you're watching me on Home Talk. See you in the next episode.
First step I'm going to do is start clearing out some of these big flat rocks. I got to get the base ready in order to build my next project. What I got to do also is get the loose debris out of the way. Using a rake, just scrape it to the sides. Next, I'm going to grab a shovel and clear all this sandy soil away because I need to get to a firmer base. All I got to do is just set it to the side, just dig down a tiny bit. If you need to put gravel down, go ahead, but it was pretty hard when I got down there. Next step is to take a small 2x4 and screed the area. Just go back and forth. That helps level the soil. Once I get it all cleared and put a level on it, I want to make sure it is nice and level. Now it's time for the first block. Put that down, shake it a little bit so that it feels nice and firm. Now it's time for the second one. We're going to put this one right next to it. Make sure it's level. If you have to add more soil or anything, go right ahead. If you dig down too far, add a little bit more sand, a little bit at a time, and pat it down. Now this one is going to be a little different. You see how that one sticks out? We're going to actually keep doing this up and down as we go. This is your project. You can make it as big as you want. Once you get that base done, put that 2x4 across and make sure it's level. A perfect, nice base is going to make the rest of this project go good. Now it's time for some construction adhesive. We don't want to put too much on. We just need to make sure those bricks don't slide and break and fall whenever we put them together. So just put it down. It'll hold it nice and even. Next time we're going to do this, we're going to put a brick on, but we're going to let this block hang over just a little bit, and I'll show you why later. So when we put it on, we're going to put some more adhesive down and keep working our way. Once we get the adhesive down, we can put the second block on. As you can see, this one is also sticking over. We're going to let that do it, and then you put one on top and that'll hold it in place. Remember to keep putting adhesive as you go. 1 tube did this whole project. Once you get that up, make sure it's nice and level and even with each other, and then I cut a nice big piece of redwood board that fits on top. Make sure once it fits that we put it back up, put some adhesive underneath, and fit it on place. But we're not done yet. It's time for spring, so we got to put some flowers out. I grabbed these from the hardware store, and I go ahead and separate the roots a little bit and put some nice potting soil in. The better the soil, the better it sticks. Now, these pots will slide right down in and take the form of the cavity that we're putting them in. I'm going to go ahead and put these in all the little cavities that are sticking out, and it's just going to look great. Remember, not too much, just slide them down. Remember that empty spot? Well, look at this. Now I've got a wonderful concrete planter out front, and it looks great, and it's really inexpensive. It's a great little side table for me, and I love it, and the family does too. I hope this inspired you to build your own cinder block planter stand. Thank you for watching Home Talk, and we'll see you next time.